Hey y'all, happy Thursday. Welcome to another What Else is Going On, aka We Go Podcast YouTube video. I'm your girl, your host, Taria. I have missed y'all. I released a video on Tuesday, but that was just the podcast episode. I didn't get down here and talk to y'all. And then yesterday either. It was my intent to. But y'all know I'm leaving for New Orleans today. Eh, eh. And I was doing some last minute things like around the house or whatever. And then I worked yesterday afternoon. So I miss y'all. So there are some subjects that, of course, the people have probably already talked about, but y'all know how that goes. I have not talked about them with y'all. So let's get into it. I'm going to do two videos. I'm going to do one housewives related and then another one right after. We got to talk about Uncle Shannon. I, ooh, I don't even, we'll get into that. But first up, let's get into some housewife things, shall we? So Andy Cohen responded to Kenya saying she was disinvited to the reunion. Remember, in her YouTube video confessionals, someone asked her, was she coming? I think it was a question that was submitted asking her if she was going to be at the reunion. She said no, she wouldn't. She hadn't been invited. And then she said, well, she was invited and then she was disinvited. Let's see what Mr. Cohen has to say, shall we? I didn't even hear this is gonna be my first time hearing it with y'all because I saw it, clicked on it, and was like, oh, I'll talk about that on the show. So let's
Not so good
oh,
taste
not
in my
that one.
Watch her whole
We have to ask you now. Listen, Kenya says she was invited and then uninvited to
Y'all
the
hear that?
reunion. How true is this?
I have to watch her whole I haven't watched her post yet,
Okay,
but
but is that true? Is that part true?
we'll talk about it.
Oh my goodness, Andy. Well, okay. Well, is she coming back? Fans want her back. So what's the deal?
I love her. I love her. Listen, we there is so much more of this season left, and it is so good. Phaedra comes on in like 5 weeks. It is a jam, and you are gonna love it. And so right now, I'm kind of focusing on the rest of the season.
So not
You know what I
Kenya.
mean? What?
So you're not focusing on Kenya, but
I'm
she's coming back.
focusing on the show.
Okay. So when you watch that confessional, let us know.
Okay.
Well, it looks like you were trying to say that she was invited and then uninvited.
That's what it looks like I was trying to say.
Kinda. You were like,
I don't know. Hopefully,
Just trying
I
to-
love her. I'll tell you that much.
Andy, we have to ask you now. Listen, Kenya says she was invited and then uninvited to the reunion. How true is this?
I have to watch her whole. I haven't watched her post yet,
Okay,
but
but is that true? Is that part true?
we'll talk about it.
Oh my goodness, Andy. Well, okay. Well, is she coming back? Fans want her back. So what's the deal?
I love her. I love her. Listen, we there is so much more of this season left, and it is so good. Phaedra comes on in like 5 weeks. It is a jam, and you are gonna love it. And so right now, I'm kind of focusing on the rest of the season.
So not
You know what I
Kenya.
mean? What?
So you're not focusing on Kenya, but
I'm
she's coming back.
focusing on the show.
Okay. So when you watch that confessional, let us know.
Okay.
Well, it looks like you were trying to say that she was invited and then uninvited.
That's what it looks like I was
Yes.
trying to say.
Kinda. You were like,
I don't know. Hopefully,
Just trying
I
to-
love her. I'll tell you that much.
Andy, we have to ask you
All right. So Andy, I feel like he did. Watch his face.
uninvited to the reunion. How true is this?
I have to watch her whole.
Watch his face, y'all.
I haven't watched her post yet,
Okay,
but
but is that true? Is that part true?
Look,
we'll talk about it.
Oh my goodness.
see how he said, So Kenya said she was invited and then disinvited, and Andy doesn't deny it. He just kind of makes a face. Now, I will say this. A lot of people feel like Andy doesn't like Kenya, and I had kind of felt like that too. Um, I felt like he definitely took issue with her, with some of the things she's done, which he has with all housewives, but it seemed like maybe there was something with him and then there's a part of me that's like, I don't know. I know the Kim Fields season at the reunion, he took issue with the way they were talking about Kim's husband, and Kenya was calling him Chrissy instead of Chris, I think, and there was that discussion. I definitely don't feel like she was one of his faves, but then I think about Kenya on Tamron Hall, and I've said this before, saying that Andy was there for her when all of this happened, and she talked to him a lot, and he was telling her how to deal with things, and then Andy himself confirming that. But then there's a part of me that's like, sometimes they'll employers can do that to you, right? You may be in a little bit of trouble with them, and then they have you thinking you good, like, oh, just follow these steps, and then it still doesn't work out for you, right? So I don't know. What do y'all think? I feel like he confirmed Kenya was not lying. Kenya was telling the truth when she said she was invited, disinvited. Or I'll say this, he didn't refute it. He may not have outright confirmed it, but he didn't refute it. Was it an indirect confirmation? Ooh, y'all let me know what y'all think. I guess I feel like she won't be invited to well, she said she was disinvited. I think the only way she would be invited is if the fans made a big enough outcry. Like they see the tides with the fans. Like, oh, okay, wait a minute. They even see people saying, hey, I don't even like Kenya and I feel like she should still be able to speak her side, blah, blah, blah. So I think that would be the only way that the invite would be reinstated. But y'all let me know what y'all think. Y'all know, let's talk about Miss Mia Thornton real fast. We know that Mia is going to Atlanta, moving there. And one of her castmates had some thoughts on her leaving, as well as wanting a peach.
My mouth. I just look at her in a different.
Hey, Kim Pie, but that is not what we were looking at. Hold on. Here we go. Child, now wait a minute, y'all. We didn't look. Hold on a minute. Look, everything's going everywhere. Now hold on. That was rude. Because I wanted y'all to hear what Ashley had to say, her thoughts about Mia leaving. Here it is. I got it. Okay, let's get into it, y'all. Because I was like, wait, y'all see me, Lord, I had been got jacked up. Like you go away 2 days, or you're away from it for 2 days, you don't know what you're doing again. Okay. And we're back. Let's get into it.
Overall thoughts are of Mia not returning for next season.
Well, this isn't shocking to me. The reunion left me with a not so good taste in my mouth. I just look at her in a different light that she did that instead of standing 10 toes on her business. So I'm happy she's doing what's best for her. And considering all that transpired, this probably is the best choice for her.
I'm right there with you. In my opinion, it sounds like she's trying to go from a flute holder to a peach holder. Do you think that will happen, Ashley?
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Considering what I'm seeing on Atlanta right now, absolutely not. Those ladies would cheer up and spit her out.
I'm dying to know what your overall thoughts are of Mia not returning for next season.
I'm just playing it again.
Well, this isn't shocking to me. The reunion left me with a not so good taste in my mouth. I just look at her in a different light that she did that instead of standing 10 toes on her business. So I'm happy she's doing what's best for her. And considering all that transpired, this probably is the best choice for her.
I'm right there with you. In my opinion, it sounds like she's trying to go from a flute holder to a peach holder. Do you think that will happen, Ashley?
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Considering what I'm seeing on Atlanta right now, absolutely not. Those ladies would cheer up and spit her out.
I'm dying to know what your overall thoughts are of Mia not returning for next season.
Child, so she believes that Atlanta would chew Mia up and spit her out. Like I say, if she couldn't handle Candace and some of her stuff, she definitely wouldn't be able to handle the Atlanta girls. But what y'all think? Do y'all think Mia would be able? I know we've talked about this. We've been split on it, right? Whether or not y'all want her to go there or not is one thing, but do y'all think Mia would be able to keep up and handle Atlanta? Y'all let me know. And then the last thing, I thought this was kind of interesting. Beverly Hills. I never did I was supposed to be doing the Beverly Hills reunion, and then just my schedule, just things just got so crazy. I'll give you my final thoughts on the reunion. I'm glad it's over. Now, just real quick, I understand why Dorit was upset at Garcelle for insinuating the robbery could have been fake. I understand why Garcelle felt the way she felt. I just wish that she had have said it behind closed doors, like kitchen table, because then we have this, right? And Dorit sometimes can almost come out looking like the victim again, or I had this terrible thing happen to me, and this is what you're saying. I just, some things we talk about behind closed doors. Like there was a lot of us that felt like it was staged, but we're different than being her cast mates. I do think that Sutton left Garcelle out to dry there, like on her own. I did not like that Bose. Let me go back. I wasn't upset that Bose said to Garcelle, like, well, it's like basically saying that could be kind of dangerous. I felt like Bose had a right to, not even a right to say that, but I could see where Bose was going with that because PK had, I think, didn't PK online kind of allude to that or something like that? But so I wasn't mad at Bose for saying that. I think if I was Dorit's friend, fake or not, alliance or not, I probably would think and maybe say the same thing. Like again, Garcelle has every right to say it, and then Dorit has a right to feel how she feels, and her friends are going to give pushback, which is why I wish that Garcelle hadn't said it. Um, on another note, when Bose brought up the whole, you said I was an angry black woman. Y'all know I don't care for Sutton at all, never have. In that instance, in the after show, when she said, I felt like she was angry with me or upset with me, I honestly, in that moment, and I'm sorry, I do feel like Sutton microaggresses or has definitely in the past, up and down, right? I didn't take it in that moment. I honestly felt like she was like rethinking in her mind what happened. It was like, well, I felt like she was angry with me. And if she felt that way, or if anybody felt that way, if they truly felt that way and aren't just doing the Lisa Rinna, ooh, you're so angry, trying to gaslight, they can feel that way. So I didn't in that particular moment think that Sutton was calling Bose an angry black woman. Based on Sutton's history, when I think about it that way, it's kind of like, But in that moment, for the, like when I first watched it, I didn't get that. But I also understand why Bose, she watched the show. So she watched some of Sutton's interactions with Crystals and all of that. She could have definitely felt it coming from that way. She's allowed to have those feelings. Now when she said, in Garcelle, you didn't even clock it. It was like and we black women, you didn't even clock it, which is interesting because people don't feel like Bose should have been, I won't even use the word responsible, but with that whole Watch What Happens Live thing with Erica, Bose was like, I mean, I felt like Bose could have kind of shut it down a little bit based on the fact that they are black women, only because that's what Bose leads with. And she said it. She has said it out of her mouth. That's why I'm saying that. If these were two black women arguing about anything else, they can argue. They don't have to like each other. But the thing about her house and all of that, I just didn't agree with. Y'all have heard my thoughts on that. But I think it's interesting that I wonder, in that Watch What Happens Live, people gave me pushback, right? And gave others pushback when they were like, Bose could have kind of shut that down. Did they give Bose pushback when Bose said, and Garcelle, you didn't even clock it, as if Garcelle was supposed to stand up for her? But I didn't have to stand up for her on Watch What Happens Live. I'm just saying, the two instances are the same to me. You're saying, Garcelle, you didn't even clock it. So could somebody say that about her Watch What Happens Live with Erica? And I'm not saying I am, I'm just asking. In that moment, I do felt like that kind of blindsided Garcelle, like, oh my gosh, wait a minute. Like, we are two black women. I know if I was Garcelle sitting on the show and I had another black woman telling me you didn't even clock this white woman being microaggressive. Like, hold on. So I could see how Garcelle was kind of like, oh, I feel like that is one of the main reasons she decided I ain't coming back because I'm not getting ready to come back on this show with another black woman and have this type of argument. I'm not clocking my white counterparts being microaggressive to her. I really think that played a part in it. I don't feel like Kyle gave us any answers. She let us know she wasn't talking about certain things. Cool. Don't demand honesty from your castmates. Give your castmates the same grace that you want people to give you. Plain and simple. Problem solved. I think it's very interesting at the end when Garcelle walked off, Doree had the nerve to open her lips and say anything about it not being professional. When Kyle has walked out of scenes, Sutton has walked out of scenes. Kyle walked off last year at the reunion. Girl, please go ahead. Go away from us with this and make sure you stay current on your mortgage payments. How about that? If Garcelle didn't feel like it was going to be a safe environment for her, I'm glad. Now, I did see some people say that they feel like Garcelle couldn't handle the heat, and that's why she left. What do y'all think about that? I wish there were times when Garcelle spoke up, like when she said, I'm upset right now, and Andy made a point to go back to her and address it, and she didn't want to talk about it. There's two things. I've been that upset before where I'm like, oh, I'm so mad. I need you to know I'm upset, but I can't talk about it. But also, this is a reunion, and this is where resolution is supposed to be. So talk about it. I wanted her to talk about it. Again, one of those things where, again, this saying is so overused, in my opinion, and sometimes it irks my nerves because sometimes I feel like it's a justification. Oh, it's like we feel like we have to justify one thing before we say something else, but two things can be true. Garcelle could have been so angry that she couldn't talk about it, but also, again, this is the reunion where we're supposed to get things out and resolve. So if she didn't feel like it was going to be a safe space for her any longer, or she would thrive in the environment, or she would be by herself, yes, get off the show. So I'm glad she did. But speaking of that, she didn't feel, because we know Sutton didn't have her back. Sutton took the picture. She was so happy to be with the cool kids, took the picture, then went to her door. Girl, don't come to my door after that. I honestly feel I would have walked off with her. That's my girl. You didn't defend her all reunion. But when she goes to her door, it was like, oh, we were supposed to go get supper or dinner or something. We know that Garcelle unfollowed all the cast, but she was still following Sutton's businesses. Sutton said that she was going to give her the space she needed. I talked about that last week or either earlier this week. Sutton said, but she still follows my businesses, though. Child Garcelle rectified that and said, no, baby, boo-boo. I'm not following your businesses. Garcelle has since unfollowed. Y'all, I'm sorry. I was tripping because my flight, I knew it said 11 o'clock somewhere, right? But I'm like, my husband was looking at the boarding passes and was like, well, no, we won't leave till 12 something. I knew I wasn't crazy. It was delayed, but now I'm making sure they don't push it back to leave it on time. Child, okay. Whew. All right. So anyway, Garcelle has went ahead and unfollowed the businesses. Again, Garcelle probably felt like she was going to be by herself, right? Which brings me to this article I wanted to read to y'all. And it's an interview that Jennifer Tilly did. And it makes me question, do they, with production, are there certain women they feel like can stand alone and don't need a friend or help? Garcelle and Sutton have been close for the last 2 or 3 years, right? Jennifer Tilly just came on this season. Listen to this interview that Jennifer Tilly did. This is from Reality Blurb. And I apologize. The last two things that I played, y'all, the Ashley interview was from the Bravo Shade. She was doing an interview for Pride.com. And I got that through the Bravo Shade Room. And then the other one was also with Andy, was from the Bravo Shade Room by way of TMZ. So this article is from Reality Blurb, and I want y'all to listen to this. There have been a number of well-known actresses to join. Well, let's skip all that, child. We going into Jennifer Tilly. Recently, Jennifer sat down for an interview with The Cut, where she discussed her illustrious career as an actress and her current stint on RHOBH. One of the first topics to come up was what it was like to come on RHOBH as Sutton Strack's friend when she's such a polarizing person. She said, when they hired me, one of the producers said, You know, we need Sutton to have more allies. They wanted me to come in so that Sutton had more people with whom she could engage in a positive way. Sutton and I have known each other for over 15 years and we've never had a fight. She spoke about feeling that Housewives was too toxic in the past to join, saying they've been asking me to be on Housewives or if I was interested for several years. I would be like, oh, it seems toxic. So I wasn't willing to dive in. But I've always been a Housewives super fan. Last summer, Chucky suddenly got canceled, so I was looking at the empty summer. So they brought me in. I kind of got to pick which I wanted and picked Friend of because I thought it would be less stressful. The only one on one scenes I had were with Sutton. And because I'm the friend of, she's talking about things that happened to her. And I'm being Oprah and nodding along and saying, oh, really? Which is really not my job. Being an actress, I'm used to being the center of attention. She said, then they discussed some of the specific relationship dynamics on RHOBH. Specifically, Jennifer's asked about Garcelle Bouvet becoming upset with Sutton because of her perceived need for Kyle's approval. When asked why her friend does this, Jennifer said, I've always noticed that, especially this season. Kyle is very kind. There's times when she's not been kind, but overall, she's kind and charismatic with a very maternal side. And we all love Reba. Who is but you all saw how Sutton's mom is a little withholding. When Kyle is taking care of you, I think that's what Sutton is attracted to. In St. Lucia, Sutton was so struck when Kyle stood up for her at that dinner. She was glowing. Kyle stood up for me. Kyle stood up for me. She kept repeating. And I'm like, yeah, I stood up for you. Garcelle stood up for you. She then said, they talked about, there was a picture posted from a party at Kyle's house, and Dorit and Camille had got into it, and it didn't air. Jennifer explained, oh my goodness, there was such a kerfuffle. It was Kathy's party, and it was sort of like a Golden Globes gifting suite where there were all these booths and you could get massages. It was utterly fabulous. Camille obviously has beef with Dorit, so she lit into her. And they were just screaming at each other. Kyle was there. Kathy, she's smart. She always seems to wander away whenever there's any kind of unpleasantness. Camille and Dorit were literally at each other's throats, like really, really got into a huge fight. I guess the producers figured it would be redundant because it was sort of like the Cowboy Party Part 2. It was really fun and interesting for me to sit there and watch. My mouth was open. Housewives have been let go because they don't bring enough drama. Well, Camille and Dorit are grandmasters of drama. So they brought up fans wondering if she would consider becoming a housewife. She said, I was thinking that might be the way to go. In computer games, my boyfriend tells me there's something called an NPC, a non-playing character. You're sort of an NPC as a friend of. Full-time would be the way to go if you want to make any kind of impact at all. And I really want to get to know the other girls better. She said, when you go on a talk show, you can really monitor what you say. But on Housewives, you're drinking, you're filming for 17 hours. People are stressed out. It's really hard to maintain your cool. At my caviar party, I thought I was enjoying Dorit and Sutton screaming at each other, but then it cut to me and it looked really sad. Maybe I was sad underneath, but I thought, oh, well, at least they won't cut my caviar party. So I wasn't sad anymore. The really interesting thing to me about that was they wanted Jennifer to come on so Sutton could have more allies. But Garcelle's only ally was Sutton. So did they ask any more? Now we know we had the Cherie coming on a couple of seasons ago. My God, today. But we know Garcelle has other friends. Did they say no? It was just interesting to me how they really wanted Sutton to have other allies because they feel like she can't handle it, can't stand on her own. What's the reason? And are they asking again for Garcelle? Are they asking other people? Are they looking for people? Were they looking for people to come on with Garcelle to have more allies? Is that why they brought Bose on, thinking that the two black girls would automatically get along? I don't know. I just thought that was really interesting that the producers were very specific with Jennifer and asking that. And Jennifer seems to like the limelight, and now she doesn't want to be an NPC, a non-playing character. So she may become full-time next season. I think they are going to do that because they know for sure with Garcelle not coming back, Sutton definitely is not going to have any allies. Y'all let me know y'all thoughts. I love y'all so much. I might end up having to do the Shannon Sharp one a little bit later, but I love y'all. And I'm about to be on my way to New Orleans, y'all. We going to the Jazz Fest, doing the things, and I cannot wait to get my hands on my nephew. I love y'all. I've missed y'all. Thank you so much for your support. Y'all don't even understand. It really feels good to be building a community with y'all. Talk to y'all later. See ya.